Good morning, everybody. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the Meta Cafe for your daily astrology, human design, and possibly oracle energy report today. I actually did pull some cards this morning, so we will be talking about them today. Good morning, Suzanne. It's good to see you out there. Always so happy to see my regulars out there. I love that you have the time to be able to tune in. I think I've seen most of you almost every morning since I started this. I love that. And for anybody new, welcome. And we love having you here as well. So we're getting ready to rock a weekend. Woohoo. And this is going to be a great one, right? We have a little bit of confrontational sort of energy to get through today. And it'll still be in the background of the weekend, but for the most part, the weekend is a lovely one. And oh, thank you, Suzanne. She said she missed me. That would have been the week and a half maybe where I was sick and also going through some craziness in my life. And I'm glad that that is over. And for the moment, that everything is back to smooth sailing. Although I got to tell you, raise your hand if yesterday was a bitchy day for you, especially toward the afternoon, because I'll tell you, I was having mad moments, right, of craziness where, and it was the full moon. And I think those mad moments actually came right about the time the full moon was culminating here on the West Coast. And here's the deal. I was in the midst of doing something very important, or I thought it was important in my world, right? And then I realized, hey, this isn't working the way that I thought it should. And so I better reach out and get help from the people who support what I'm doing. And I was working on my website, and I have my website from GoDaddy, and I have had a website with them since 2005. 2005. And it's, so I mean, I've got to be, a really good customer of theirs, right? So I call them to say, how can I get this done? Because what I'm trying to get done, I can't seem to get myself through. And he just basically, the person I was talking to was so lackadaisical. He's like, well, I don't think you can do that with what you have. I'm like, you mean to tell me that I've had a website with you since 2005 and it's now what, 2018? That makes it 13 years. And you're just now going to tell me that I probably shouldn't have the kind of website that I have if because it won't do what I want it to do. I was a little irked with him, and I was so upset, not to him, but inside I could just feel that roiling mass of, oh my God, you're stuck. What's that saying? You're cock blocking me. Right? Like, universe, what are you doing to me? You give me all of these tools. You say, I'm opened up and I'm like, yes, I'm going. And now you want to do this to me? Oh, man. Oh, man. The awareness of that happening in my life was very stark yesterday. And so what did I do? Well, instead of being really irked for very long, I got up and I changed up the energy. I left my website. I left what I was trying to do for the moment, and I went outside. It happened to be a beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest, so I went outside. I listened to the birds. I watched the water. I live very near the water here, and I could just see it and just tune into the peaceful serenity of it. And then I came in and I made dinner, and then I came back to my website. This is the funny part. The guy's telling me, there's no way you can do what you want to do. And I figured out a way to do it. Sometimes you just need to walk away, right? Walk away and let the universe kind of recalibrate maybe the energies for you so that you can come back with an open mind. And maybe literally all the guy was telling me was from the universe's standpoint, walk away for a moment and then come back. And so I did. I felt better. I ended up my evening tired from the struggle, but feeling like I'd accomplished something. And now I have to do that 4 more times today. So I'm hoping that it really is working the way that I think it's working. So and it is frustrating. Suzanne says, how frustrating. It was so very frustrating. And it was frustrating because there's also this shadow we're in of Mercury going retrograde. Hello, I'm a Gemini, ruling planet Mercury. So of course I'm at the sort of receiving end of some of that energy. But here's some really good news about today. So we have this morning, Mars, I want to show you the chart because this chart tells you it all. See that big giant red triangle there? That's called a T-square. And it's a T-square because there's nothing down here at the bottom to balance it out, right? There's just nothing here in the bottom part. So it's really like an arrowhead pointed at something, and the arrowhead's pointed at Mars. So it makes sense to me then that when we're trying to take steps forward this morning, especially this morning, but it could be kind of, an all-day affair, when we're trying to get something done and we're pointing ourselves in that direction, that we may encounter some kind of conflict or something in the energy field that's disruptive. And the other two ends of this are Venus and Mercury at one side and the moon at the other. And that's why I say this probably isn't going to be an all-day thing. It could be an all-day thing if you allow yourself to get into the emotion of it and you allow it to change your mood for the day, right? You know how sometimes, and this could have happened to me easily yesterday, where it colored my whole rest of my day and my evening about that frustration that I was feeling and not being able to get done what I wanted to get done. So this morning, yes, you may encounter something frustrating. You may be struggling with something, but don't let it color your whole day, right? Because this too shall pass. The moon moves rather quickly, so it may be a couple of hours, and the energy will shift, right? So don't get drawn into conflict today. Don't get drawn into confrontations. Don't get in your car and engage in road rage or get drawn into somebody else's road rage. Be calm and cool. The energy will shift. And when it shifts, what's really going to be the most powerful thing left in this is Mercury conjunct Venus. And that's a really beautiful energy for us to go into the weekend, right? So today we have, and I'll get to why that's so wonderful in a second. Today we have the moon finishing her transit in Virgo. We've now gone through the full moon. And good morning, Roseanne. It's okay. You can always re-listen to the earlier part of the conversation this morning. And you guys know that this, automatically archives to the web page. So if you come in, partway through, you can always go back and listen to the beginning. So don't worry if you were late. We haven't really gotten too far. That's the really good news. So we have the weekend's energy. So today the moon finishing its Virgo trip. And the moon moves void of course. Ooh, remember, we're going to keep talking about this. The moon moves void of course today at 6:50 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, and lasts until 3:20 a.m. when the moon moves out of Virgo and into Libra. Now, the really perfect news about all of this is that for the most part, everybody, at least on the East Coast, is done with their work day, right? They're done with the have to part of the day. And now you might be into the more social engagement part of your day, or the go home and relax and grab a glass of wine part of your day, which is very much supported by the void of course moon. Now for us on the West Coast, however, that void moon begins at 3:50 p.m. and lasts until a little past midnight, 12:20 a.m., when the moon moves out of Virgo and into Libra. So for us here on the West Coast, a part of that moon void, of course, overlaps your Friday, finishing up your work day. So here's how I see that, right? Everybody is going to probably quit working right about 3:50 p.m. today. So if you're off at 5, that last hour and 10 minutes is really going to be a waste of your time anyway. Don't start anything new. Maybe just complete the things that you can for the week. Lay everything else out on your desk or put it in a drawer until Monday, because it's probably not going to get done today. And then go home and enjoy your weekend, right? That's the best news. Saturday, the moon is in Libra all day. This is great energy. Libra is very much ruled by Venus. And that makes this very sociable, great for get-togethers or any kind of social events. I have a fundraiser I'm going to tomorrow evening, and I think it's going to be a really good time, right? We'll have family there, friends there, raising funds for a wonderful young woman who is a straight A student, a very active sports player, and a cheerleader. And oh, by the way, she races race cars, right? Sprint cars. She's crazy. She's awesome. She's talented. And I want to go and support her. So we're raising funds for her racing coming up this spring and into the summer. So do things like that this weekend. Get engaged. Go out with friends or family. Have some fun. The sociable nature of the energy is very much supportive of those kinds of things, right? It's really not going to be a good time to sit home by yourself. Although, hey, if you really enjoy that, then no problem, right? Because this is very supportive of whatever it is that you love, but it is very much a social time. And it's enhanced by what's beginning today is the Mercury-Venus conjunction, because that makes for delightful conversation even during these social engagements. Not necessarily, you know how we always say to avoid politics and religion and God, almost anything anymore, anything to do with politics or religion is really very polarizing. So I don't think you're even going to have to try to avoid those conversations, because I think people are going to be really, generally speaking, in a good mood. And certainly deceive you. And so if you're going out to buy a brand new car, let's say, the salesman isn't probably going to tell you that this clunker of a car's been sitting on their lot for 6 months and they want it gone. So you want to be eyes wide open this weekend. Try not to commit to anything big, at least not while the sun is conjunct Neptune. It's very close to it today. Today the sun is at 11 degrees, Neptune at 13. Tomorrow that means the sun is at 12 and Neptune at 13. But on the weekend they're both at 13, right? So being eyes wide. Me still? Like I nodded off. I went off and then I came back on. That was weird. Okay, well, somebody type in really quickly, yes, I see you, so I know I'm not just talking to myself. Dum, 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 dum. Hello, somebody. Well, I guess I'll carry on just in case you okay, Roseanne says it's glitchy, but you're seeing me apparently because you're answering what I'm saying. So thank you, Roseanne. All right, so glitchy as I'm talking about the sun conjunct Neptune. Go figure, right? It's that kind of thing, right? That it's not predictable, but it's also kind of hazy energy, right? I couldn't tell right now what the hell happened, what was going on. Things aren't clear. And that's kind of the nature of the weekend too. So definitely stick with the social engagements, because that part at least we can handle, but try not to go out and buy anything big. Go look at it, right? Get all the information you want. Wait till next week. Actually, I'm going to say, oh man, I didn't turn my big calendar. I'm still in February. It's a good thing February is a mirror of March, or March is a mirror of February. So next week, after about Tuesday, our stellium of planets in Pisces begins to break up. In fact, let me see here. I believe it's on, Tuesday. Tuesday, Mercury moves into Aries and Venus moves into Aries. So 2 of the 4 planets that are in Pisces are breaking up and moving on into Aries. So then we begin the buildup of Aries energy, which is that energy of doing. So this weekend, let's just be cool and calm and collected, dreamy even. Let's play in our imaginations. Let's not go out and and look for big purchases or big changes to happen because the energy isn't clear yet, right? So very much pay attention to what's going on in your body, not your head. Body, not your head. The head is engaged in mind tricks and chatter. The body, though, is telling you the truth, right? You know, when your guts grumble, when you're looking at that car and your guts are like, oh, don't buy the car, right? So take it easy this weekend. Play out there with social engagements instead. Talk to other people about the car that you want to buy. Don't go buy it. All right. Let's see. So why don't we do some of the, it's freezing up. Is that my computer? What the heck? So if I freeze, I'm sorry. There's a techno glitch somewhere. Could be in my system. Could be in me. Who knows? So we'll just play along. And I pulled a couple of cards this morning for us that I want to share. And I was surprised that I couldn't seem to pull a card that was straight up, right? They were coming up in protection mode. Remember, we're using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron-Reid. And in her deck, when a card is upside down, it's a protection message. And so the first question I asked is to give us an idea of what we need to know. I asked 3 questions, actually. What's the takeaway message from the full moon? And what can we expect going forward in March? And then the third question I asked was specific to the weekend. So this is the card that I drew for my question about the full moon and going forward in March. And what do we see here? Right? We see the full moon, and it's the card is called Deep Knowing. But I pulled it this way. So I have to read the protection mechanism message for you. Now I know Mercury is slowing down. So the protection message is you are in, first of all, let me tell you what that card means. Of course, deep knowing is about intuition, listening to the oracle within. I love that. Empathy and hypersensitivity. And I've heard this from a lot of people, actually. They've been feeling very hypersensitive and they're feeling very much on overload, maybe picking up a lot of the emotional energy from around them. So here's the protection mechanism. Message for not only this full moon, but also for going forward in March. You are in empathy overload and need to get grounded again. So tune out for a bit. Hypersensitive, you're suffering from psychic exhaustion. This signals a time for a recharging of your batteries. Set energetic boundaries, take a salt bath, empty your mind, and get back to you. It's not a time to be too open. Soon enough, you can let your guard down. Right now, you need self-care and self-love. It's time to say no thank you to anyone in your life who exhausts you. Won't that feel good? So, cool message, right? And I like this message because we've had this Pisces stellium for what? This is like going into week 3. And during that time, we've all been way more sensitive than normal. And some of you who are already hypersensitive are feeling pretty much overloaded. Like all of those circuits are, like on fire at the ends, and just one more thing might feel like it's going to send you over the edge. So look at all these people. Suzanne, that card is for me for sure. Roseanne, wow, great card. And Suzanne says, oh my God, so me. And so there's definitely a feeling that this is meaningful for all of us. And so take some time for you. I think, great. This evening, the moon is void, of course, right? So take a salt bath or relax somehow. Go get in your hot tub if you have one. Go get in somebody else's hot tub and start a social engagement with them. Anything that you could do that is in support of you. But I really love that the card that I pulled had the full moon on it. That just kind of validates for sure that maybe the reason I couldn't get another card is that this is the one that was for both of those, March and for the full moon. Then the last card I drew was also upside down. And this one I asked for what was the energy for the weekend. And I got the card Yin, which I believe we've had before, Yin, but she was upside down. And, she's a beautiful card. All, very pink and very feminine. So this card really reminds me of Venus energy. And we talked about the fact Venus and Mercury are in a conjunction this weekend, kind of making everything go smoothly in terms of how we get along with one another. So the protection message, because it's upside down, says, first of all, yin, the card, essential meanings, the feminine principle of receptivity, letting someone else make the first move, gathering information and taking in cues, and the art of conscious allowing. Wow, conscious allowing. Okay, so let's read the protection message. Do you have trouble receiving? Check mark. You stop the flow of abundance when you continually insist upon being the giver. You can't always lead, always give, always teach. You must be the student, the open vessel, and the one who receives the gift, gesture, or offer in equal measure. Open up and let love, life, abundance, and spirit fill you without demand or expectation. Just receive the bounty that is yours. I like that card for the weekend. Even in its protection phase, it is a great card, reminding us that receiving is the important end of giving, right? Giving and receiving, they are definitely part of this continuum of energies. So, all right. I think that is all I needed to tell you about the weekend. So let me tell you one last thing to be aware of come Monday morning. Monday, the 5th, is a void of course moon. Now for you on the East Coast, this is from 1:19 a.m., you're asleep most likely, but it overlaps into 8:23 a.m. And that may mean that Monday morning is going to be a bit of a sleepy one, right? Who wants to get up on Monday morning and go to work kind of energy, where you may be late. So make sure you check your alarm clocks if you have to be somewhere at a certain time. And maybe go to bed on time on Sunday evening to make sure that you're ready for your day Monday morning. Because, that song about Mondays, what is that other, I'm trying to think of that song, but, we always think of Mondays as kind of being the hassle of getting back into the, role of the week. So for you guys on the East Coast, if you are trying to get out of your house on time and you got up late, it could be a little bit of a difficult start for you. So set yourself up now for being up on time, getting the coffee ready or the tea ready, and being ready for your day. That feeling, that kind of feeling will pass quickly. For those of us on the West Coast, that occurs from 10:19 p.m. Sunday evening until 5:23 a.m. Monday morning. So for us, unless you're an early riser and you have to get up before 5 in the morning, this is probably going to be already past by the time that we get up. The moon will already be in Scorpio, and we'll be starting on our day without the void of course moon causing us to sort of feel like we're lagging. But if you get up early on Monday morning, if you're someone that needs to be up before 5:23 a.m., your first hour in the morning might be a little bit slow, feel a little bit laggy, and kind of like my computer was kind of lagging here this morning for some reason. So, oh my gosh, Suzanne, I'm sorry. I'm going to share this comment because it just cracks me up. Yes, I almost checked myself into the loony bin this last week. I'm sorry to laugh, but I guarantee you there are probably 100 people out there who are going to hear this and go, me too, me 3, me 4, me 5. It's hysterical. I wish peace for you coming into the weekend, that you could let go of all of the energies that had you so crazed out. And I wish everybody peace, right? Remember, it's just this morning. Things will be a little glitchy with the moon, Mars, and Venus, Mercury being in a T-square triangle, or here, I'm going to show it again, right? The T-square. By the way, before I go, what do you do with a T-square, right? Because that's challenging. There's no way around that one. That is a challenging dealie. So common knowledge is from astrology is that we go to the opposite point down here at the bottom. in order to kind of satisfy the square and or to balance out the energy. So let's see, Mars, which is forming the point of that T-square, is at 21 degrees of Sagittarius, which means that the opposing side, which is where the emptiness is at 21 degrees Gemini. Well, what does Gemini love to do? Talk, play, they're curious, puzzles. There's lots of things that Gemini energy can do to help balance out this challenging T-square. One of the things that Gemini does really well is being cheerful, right? Sort of being lighthearted. And superficial is the word I want to say, but it's in most cases, superficial sounds pretty negative, but I don't mean that. It's just don't take things deeply, right? Don't just look at the surface, right? The person who's maybe causing you problems is maybe having a bad day. Maybe they felt like Suzanne, and this whole week has, been a week that they want to go to the loony bin, right? So if that's the case, today may just be the culmination of a week from hell for them. So take things lightheartedly. Take things kind of with a joke or cheering people up if they're down. That's the way to balance this morning's energy. And at least for the next couple of hours, you being cheerful helps mitigate all of the other energy. That's how we work with these T-squares. We kind of look at the energy at the base that's missing and see what can we pull in that helps to balance that challenge. That's your last little lesson for the day. By the way, a couple new things for you. You know how sometimes you really want to know what's going on in your life, but you don't have the time perhaps to sit down with me for a full reading, or maybe it's a matter of it's just not in the budget right now to pay for a reading. I now have something new that I'm putting on my website, which is what I was struggling with yesterday, where people can get reports, astrology reports. And I've had a couple of people out there testing them for me over the week that I've had this. Because I wanted to know, are they accurate? Do they feel like, you're just, giving me information I could have got everywhere else? Or are they truly worthy? And the bottom line is they seem pretty worthy. And they're inexpensive. The one I put up on my website yesterday is $29, and that's a natal report. And I was actually stunned when I looked at my own. Now, certainly it's not the same as talking to me or talking to an astrologer, right? It's not quite that. But it does give someone access to this information at a lesser price and in the private of their own home. They don't have to, be ready to talk to somebody. They can just print it off and read it. I have 3 other reports that are also going to be available, but I've got to play putting them up on my website today. One of them is the solar return, which is for your birthday. Another one is about relationships. And the 4th one is for transits. Now, the transit one yesterday, I actually pulled for myself because I just wanted to see what that one looked like. Because when I do a transit reading for people, I'm really looking in depth at what's happening over the next 3 months for you. And this transit report does the same thing. It's pretty much a day by day, blow by blow of what is up for you for the next 3 months. So it's maybe a little bit overwhelming for some people. But for the most part, you can pick this up and you go, okay, here are the major things going on for me today. It actually tells you what is the major themes or the major transits for you for the 3-month period. Then it tells you what are the major things for each month. And then it goes day by day. And I think it's so useful to have. That report is probably going to be more like around $39. But helpful, right? To be able to pull out every day and go, okay, today I'm going to watch this. And it's personalized. It's for you personally. It's not like what I do here in the mornings where I'm talking about the general energy of the day. It's specifically geared to you. So these are new products for me. I did have several people test them and the feedback has been pretty good. I mean, I haven't heard anybody go, no, I don't like this. I mean, I think the most things that people will say is, yeah, but it's not you. This isn't your words. And that's true. It's not my words, but it's okay because sometimes you just need to know what's going on and you don't have the time for the reading or whatever. So check out the reports. It'll be on my webpage. It's still under construction. It's not complete, but you could certainly go there, or you can tell me that you would like that report because I still can generate it. I just haven't put it on the website. And the last thing I want to tell you about that's new for me is something called Instant Go. And of course, yesterday I forgot to use this in the midst of a young lady who needed me to do something quick for her, a quick reading. Instant Go is an app that I have on my phone that allows you to interface with me. And instead of having to pay for a big reading, you pay by the minute. So if you just need a 15-minute Janet fix, you can do that. And it's only $1 a minute or $2 a minute if it's a video chat. So that is a very inexpensive way to get access to some answers when something's going on in your life and you, again, don't have the time for a big reading or the funds aren't there yet for you to be able to do something on a big scale. So new things. You'll notice in the morning now when I put up the information for the day, you'll see the 3 links. One to my, actually, I don't even know what the other link was I put up. One was to my website and one was to my Instant Go. I don't remember what the third one was, but it's out there for people to be able to get to. And that's the important thing, right? All right, everybody. So I'm done. Does anybody have any big burning questions that they want to type in for me to do before I go? Suzanne says she's going to check it out. Roseanne, I need to do that for her bleep boyfriend. I'm not putting his name in. And Suzanne says we can laugh at her loony bin comment. I love that because, of course, I did laugh. Couldn't help myself. Mostly because yesterday I wanted to be in the loony bin. And isn't it funny? A show I watched last night was this woman who was pretending to be crazy. And I thought, you know what? I don't have to pretend too much this week. Oh, we love you too, Natasha. Love you, Roseanne. Love you, Suzanne. Love you, everybody out there whose names I'm not seeing as having spoken to me, but you know we love you, or you know I love you, and we all are in this together. Let's make this a great weekend, right? Let's be receptive and loving and kind and enjoy the social atmosphere. Let's just leave everything that's important until next week. All right? Love you too, Suzanne. We'll see you all on Monday morning. And I don't see any questions here, so I think it's safe to say have a great weekend, and I'll see you then on Monday. Love you all. Bye-bye.